It's a huge honor to receive an award named after Richard Hamming. I never had the opportunity to meet him or hear him speak, but I certainly know his work. Doing interdisciplinary work is inherently challenging because as young academics, you are taught and you're trained and you're mentored to excel within your particular disciplines. Fortunately, here at the Naval Postgraduate School, our work is inherently interdisciplinary, and it allows us to work with other departments across campus, as well as with other national laboratories and other universities to work on what we perceive as really hard problems and really important problems. Hamming's work and his instruction to focus on really important problems serves as an exemplar for how I pursue my own work on critical infrastructure. I've been studying critical infrastructure for nearly 20 years now. My interest began as a graduate student back in 1997. I had come from a job on Wall Street where I was involved in markets, and I was really interested in their global connectivity, the way in which events in one location affected events in another location. The reason that I came to NPS was because of the deep expertise of my colleagues in operations research for thinking about and studying critical infrastructures. Because we naturally think about adversaries and adversary threat, we naturally look at our own critical infrastructures from the perspective of intelligent adversaries. We essentially ask, if we wanted to disrupt our own infrastructure systems, what locations would we target? We develop mathematical models to study both civilian and military infrastructure systems. We develop systems-level models that assess how they behave, not only under normal circumstances, but when bad things happen. And then we systematically evaluate where to attack these in order to discover these vulnerabilities. And quite often, the mathematics reveal vulnerabilities that no one had ever thought of. So not surprisingly, the Department of Defense is incredibly dependent on critical infrastructure. Not only its own defense critical infrastructure, but civilian infrastructures as well. And so one of the things that's currently happening is that the Department of Defense is leading certain efforts to think about how to maintain system functionality in the presence of either deliberate, such as hostile acts of terrorism or potentially enemy attack, or non-deliberate, being things like weather events, accidents, failures, so on and so forth. The overall goal is to create systems that continue to perform even in the presence of these disruptive events. And in the civilian world, this is often called resilience. In the military world, we often refer to this as mission assurance. Another way of developing resilience is not to be dependent on these networks to begin with, which is why research here at the Naval Postgraduate School on renewable energy such as solar, wind, and microgrids is so important. Because if you don't have to bring energy from long distances, whether it be for installations here at home or deployed troops abroad, it means that you can stay on station longer, you can fight longer, and you can fight harder. The reason that some people don't end up doing important work is because they don't focus on important problems. That colloquium, where he speaks at length about this, is something that I encourage all young researchers to look at. It's certainly been influential, and I try to go back to it from time to time.